110th Street. Bush's won't let the junkie go free. Oh, across 110th Street. Bush's won't let the junkie go free. Oh, across 110th Street. You can find it all in the street.
My bad. Getting in the groove. Getting in the groove. Today we're going to talk about, a lot of people don't understand what a purse bid is. A purse bid is when one of the sanctioning bodies, the WBC, the WBA, the IBF, or in this case, the WBO, sanction two fighters to fight. In this case, WBO 160-pound champion Billy Joe Saunders, who works with Frank Warren, BT Sport over in the UK, and #1 contender Demetrius Andrade, former 154-pound WBO champion, who works with Eddie Hearn and Dazn USA, Matchroom USA. So what that is that's two different networks that have two different fighters. In the case of Matchroom, that's technically Billy Joe Saunders has worked with HBO, but we're going to say that just he's BT Sport. Eddie Hearn with Demetrius Andrade, he's with the Zone over in the UK, over in the US here where he'll be broadcast, and over in the UK he'll likely be broadcast on Sky Sports, right? So it's going to come down to these guys having to make a deal by July the 25th, which is like next Tuesday. Right now it's Friday, July the 20th, 2018. What time is it? 11:49 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. And, okay, before I go on, let me play this first, right? And then we're going to piggyback off of this. And then we're going to talk about everything. I'll be right back. Will your fighters be, okay, will Matchroom USA, the Zone fighters, be exclusive to the Zone? For example, can they fight on HBO?
Depends in what situations. For example, we're not looking to obstruct fighters in that respect. A lot of the time politics gets in the way of fights. So I'll give you an example. Maurice Hooker fights Saucedo, which is his next fight.
Top break on ESPN Plus and then the Zone?
No, but if that goes to purse bids and we lose the purse bids, Hooker's fighting on ESPN. No problem. We're not looking to be obstructive in that respect. So the plan is to build these fights. The plan is to win the purse bid for Hooker Saucedo. That's a good fight for our California card.
Yeah.
But we know there'll be times Demetrius Andrade against Billy Joe Saunders for the WBO world title. I want to win that purse bid. If I lose the purse bid, he has to go to the UK. No problem. I don't say to him, I know you can't do that, son. That's not what we're about.
That's what a lot of people were thinking.
No, but that's the problem with boxing. And that's when you deal with bitter people in boxing.
Yeah.
Come back to me in 10 years, I'll be one of those people.
See, I've learned that, you got to try to, do your best to control, the interviews with Eddie Hearn because he will fast talk you. So, I already knew all that stuff in regards to Billy Joe Saunders is heavily aligned with Frank Warren and BT Sports. He's over there. But if Frank Warren and BT Sport come up with the money, which people don't think that they'll come up with the money. If they come up with the money, then Demetrius Andrade has to fight on BT Sport, in the UK, and maybe they work out a deal for him to fight on the Zone here in the US. But then that would mean Billy Joe Saunders would be fighting on the Zone here in the US. Now, if Eddie Hearn, which is the Zone's plan, is to win the purse bid, they don't have a large stable right now here in the U.S., but they have a lot of money to throw around, and they want to get that platform big. And from what I'm seeing is that their strategy is to try to get their fighters, whatever fighters they have into positions to fight for mandatory fights. Therefore, they'll win the purse bid. So if in this case Eddie Hearn and Demetrius Andrade and the Dazn sides were to win the purse bid, then Billy Joe Saunders has to come over here to the United States and fight on whatever platform, whatever arena the Dazn wants him to fight on, and networks and everything. They control everything, which would be a disaster for BT Sport and Billy Joe Saunders. I believe that this purse bid is going to be interesting. Okay, another thing you should know is the champion always gets the biggest portion of the purse bid. So, for example, according to the WBO rules, which you can go check out, let's say if Eddie Hearn or BT Sport, let's say BT Sport, Eddie Hearn bids $3 million for the fight, right? And that's the highest bid. No other promoter bids anymore. By the way, any promoter can join in on this and throw money down on it. But let's say if Eddie Hearn bids $3 million, then if he puts the fight in the U.S., Billy Joe Saunders would get 80% of that $3 million. So Demetrius Andrade would get $750K, and Billy Joe Saunders would get $2.25 million, something like that. So it would be a massive payday, and that's how it works, 80% to 20%, compared to if it happens in the UK, Billy Joe Saunders would get 75% because it's his home turf. He don't have to travel, and Demetrius Andrade 25%. Now, understand that if somebody wants to throw, a monkey wrench into this, they can come and bid whatever they want and say, nah, but usually promoters don't do that. We had a bit of some controversy with an Al Heyman, Adonis Stevenson, Grovesdick situation, but that was settled where, it was rumored or alleged that two promoters were in cahoots with each other, so they both were bidding to outbid Top Rank, so Stevenson wouldn't have to go to Top Rank on ESPN. But basically, if a promoter wins a purse bid against a champion, that means that the champion would either have to vacate his title or his promoter would lose rights to be able to promote them the way that they want via picking network, venue, etc. So the reason why I want to hear the outcome of this purse bid is because I want to see, for one, how much money the Dazn is really going to be throwing down, because this is going to send a message to other boxers. Yeah, this is how much money we're spending. And then it's going to they're going to try to entice other fighters to, sign with us. We make shit happen. We win purse bids, we get you a title shot, and we get you a lot of money. Even if they are the contender and only getting 20%, they're going to make sure, they're willing to make sure Billy Joe Saunders, from my understanding, is paid handsomely just to get him on their network for their fighter to hopefully to be showcased, but hopefully win. You see what I'm saying? So it may all sound a little confusing or what it is, but it seems as though both of these fighters are going forward with it. It's been talk that Billy Joe Saunders was going to fight James DeGale. Frank Warren did an interview on a channel called The Boxcaster just yesterday, where he was talking about basically how that fight fell apart, because originally, if James DeGale wouldn't have lost to Truax, he would have fought Billy Joe Saunders at a catch weight of like 164 or whatever. But things have since changed, and now Billy Joe Saunders doesn't have a real good opponent. And when you look at the rankings in the 160-pound division, if he does not fight Demetrius Andrade, yeah, they can explore that Martin Murray fight again, because remember, they were supposed to fight. If he does not fight Martin Murray again, then the rankings of Demetrius Andrade or Martin Murray, then the rankings of the WBO is you don't want to, is nasty. And if you're a champion, let's go look at it. Let me pull it up and get Eddie out of here.
Okay, right now I'm not.
Okay, let's get Eddie out of here. Oh, let's look at this first for those who don't know. My bad, wrong screen. My bad, wrong screen. 26-0 with 12 KOs. He really hasn't capitalized off of the momentum for the fight he had with David Lemieux, where people were saying he's the 160-pound Floyd Mayweather, got a lot of exposure. He was supposed to fight Martin Murray in April, but that fight fell through. Didn't supposed to fight him again in June. It fell through. Tom Loeffler, of the promoter of Golovkin, said there was a deal in place if the Canelo fight didn't go through for Saunders and Golovkin to fight on August the 25th. But that was before Canelo versus Golovkin became official. So a lot of people have questioned if Billy Joe Saunders was really injured or not against Martin Murray. He was trying to get that Golovkin or Canelo fight. And Tom Loeffler has no reason to lie. He has a real good reputation in, you know, keeping that shit how it is. So why would he lie about that? You know? And looking at it right now, he can't fight Danny Jacobs because Danny Jacobs is already returning to fight for the IBF title in, they're saying, November against Derevchenko. So he can't do that. So it's looking like September the 15th, he's going to likely try. I mean, he can't fight Martin Murphy. You know, let's go look at the, you know, who can he fight? And Frank Warren also in that interview said that 168 pounds is out of the question right now. They want to focus on 160. And looking at the rankings, like I said, he's taken up. You know, he's fighting Derevchenko for this belt. You know, you got Andrade, you know, who we're talking about in this video. And if you look at the rankings, you know, he can fight Wolverine again. Remember, he fought this guy in that Leisure Center. And when I first saw the fight, I thought it was a draw. Billy Joe barely edged it. He looked like shit. He even said it. You know? And these are the guys he can fight. I mean, you got Jamal Charlo, but Jamal Charlo is the WBC interim champion, which technically means he's the WBC champion. I mean, that fight can, you know, it's a long, my bad, move this over some. You know, it's a long way off right here, you know? He's got to fight Andrade, but with the way this purse bid is set up, for example, it's on July the 25th. Andrade's date is already going to be on October the 6th in Chicago. And the way Frank Warren is talking is like, listen, we're going to go through with the purse bid. You know, he's saying he's going to fight in October. We're fighting in September. You know, we're going to make sure that our side is ready for that purse bid and move on to have a date. We're not going to wait. So, you know, it's like this cat and mouse type game they're playing right now, you know? So I want to see, you know, if Frank Warren really comes up with the money, because if you really, really look at it, look at BT Sport right now and look at Frank Warren and that side. Right now, it's looking like their number one guy is Billy Joe Saunders, and then, you know, Tyson Fury, and then, you know, I mean, yeah, you got Carl Frampton, but you can say arguably that, you know, that Billy Joe Saunders is one of their top three guys. You think they're not going to put up the money? They should put up the money. You know, they don't want, and this BT Sport deal is newish. It hasn't even been 2 years yet. They can't let Billy Joe Saunders just go like that, you know? So, I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Please subscribe. Don't expect for it to be, you know, an exciting fight either when it happens. You know, I already said that in the video before. Don't expect for it to be an exciting fight. Both of these guys are not really going to be engaging. I don't really see it being a hug fest. I just see it being like, you know, a low punch output fight, you know? All the links to my social media right down below in the description box. And TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live.